Welcome to our channel. If you are not yet subscribed to our channel, please click over the subscribe icon. To get subscribed to our channel, click over the bell button to get notified about latest videos. Today in this video, we are going to discuss about the summary of respiration. Before moving into the deep concept of the video, we must discuss about few important terms which drives the entire respiratory mechanisms. The first term is bioenergetics. What is bioenergetics? The transfer of energy inside the biological world is called bioenergetics. If you see, sun is the ultimate source of energy in our planet. Plants use this energy to produce food, that is sugar molecules, with the help of process called as photosynthesis during daytime. And during night time, these sugar molecules are broken down into ATP molecules, that is energy currencies, with the help of process called as respiration. And this ATP is used to do many works, for example transpiration, translocation, active transport, etc. etc. So if you see in bioenergetics, the energy cycle, the energy is taken from the environment and the energy is again given to the environment. So it is a closed cycle which is depending upon the principle of thermodynamics, which says energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. So respiration also works in the same principle of energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. Next, we have to discuss about three important terms which are also responsible for the respiratory mechanism to properly function. The second term is G, that is free energy. Delta G means change in free energy. What is free energy? Free energy is the energy available for the reaction to occur, and delta G means change in free energy, that is the energy produced or energy absorbed during a reaction. And next we have spontaneous and non-spontaneous processes. What is a spontaneous process? A process which does not require any external aid of energy to occur properly is called as a spontaneous process. Let us take an example of waterfalls. In waterfalls, the water falls from the top of the hill to the bottom of the hill without the help of any other external energy. It occurs naturally. But if you want to take the water from the bottom again to the top of the hill, you will need the help of a pump which is powered by electricity or some other source of energy. So we are providing external energy to take the water back to the top of the hill. This process is now called as a non-spontaneous process. So these two processes are contradict to each other, and the spontaneous process does not require external energy, and the non-spontaneous process requires external energy to occur properly. So why we need energy, why we need respiration is because of the many of the non-spontaneous processes occurring in our biological world. Even my hand movement is a non-spontaneous process which requires external energy aid, and so only respiration is occurring to produce energy to meet the needs of these non-spontaneous processes. So basically, what is respiration? The basic definition of respiration is the breakdown of food molecules to produce energy. This is the basic level definition of the respiration. If you see in detail somewhat, respiration is nothing but the biological oxidation of food molecules, that is by the breakage of carbon-carbon bonds present in the food molecules to release energy with the help of enzymes involved in the various respiratory mechanisms. Let us take an example of glucose as a respiratory substrate. Substrate means nothing but a reactant. So glucose is taken as a respiratory substrate in this case. Glucose is a 6-carbon molecule. It undergoes a process called as glycolysis, which happens in the cytosol, that is cytoplasm. And this glycolysis process is common for both aerobic and anaerobic conditions, that is both aerobic and anaerobic organisms. In this process, a single glucose molecule which contains 6 carbon atoms is broken down into 2 pyruvate molecules of 3 carbon atoms. So a single 6 carbon atom is broken down into 2 3 carbon atoms as a result of glycolysis. The glycolysis also produce few of high energy compounds, for example ATP, NADH. And what is an high energy compound? High energy compound is nothing but a compound which will produce an energy of more than 7 kilocalories per mole when it is hydrolyzed or broken. So ATP and NADH, FADH are the examples of high energy compound, and these high energy compounds ATP and NADH alone is produced in glycolysis. And now we have produced pyruvate from glucose. Depending upon the fate of pyruvate, it can undergo aerobic respiration or anaerobic fermentation. First, let us discuss about the anaerobic respiration, that is fermentation. In the absence of oxygen, the pyruvate will undergo fermentation. It is of two types, ethanol and lactic acid fermentation. Both these types of fermentation will occur mostly in anaerobic microorganism. Ethanol fermentation, the ultimate product of ethanol fermentation is ethanol. It is completed with the help of enzymes, for example, pyruvic acid dehydrogenase and alcohol dehydrogenase. And lactic acid is also produced with the help of lactic acid dehydrogenase. But if you see, the lactic acid is produced even in our human body from pyruvate. If you take the muscle cells of human body during exercise, it will not have proper oxygen supply. So in this condition, pyruvate molecule will be converted to lactic acid, and this lactic acid will be sent to the liver, where it will be converted to pyruvate again, and it enters the aerobic respiration when the favorable conditions are available. So that's all about the anaerobic respiration. Now let us discuss about the aerobic respiration. The aerobic respiration, first step is oxidative decarboxylation. In this step, the pyruvate molecule is converted to acetyl-CoA. From pyruvate molecule, acetyl-CoA molecule is produced in the oxidative decarboxylation. And another important thing, significance about this oxidative decarboxylation is that it transports or transfers the respiratory substrate from the cytosol to the mitochondrial matrix. This step is very important because the next step of aerobic respiration, that is Krebs cycle, occurs only in the mitochondria. And now the respiratory substrate acetyl-CoA is present in mitochondria. It undergoes a process called as Krebs cycle. In Krebs cycle, the acetyl-CoA is further broken down into many intermediates, and the ultimate product of this Krebs cycle is water and carbon dioxide. Along with water and carbon dioxide, many higher energy compounds will be produced. For example, ATP, NADH and FADH. So now we are with water, carbon dioxide and higher energy compounds produced as a result of above all respiratory mechanisms. And finally, we have the electron transport chain. The higher energy compounds produced in the above reactions will move through this electron transport chain. The higher energy compounds will be oxidized by the set of electron carriers present in the inner mitochondrial membrane, and this electron movement will increase the proton gradient in the intermembrane space of the mitochondria, that is the space between the inner membrane and outer membrane. To maintain this proton gradient between the matrix and the intermembrane space, the protons from the intermembrane space will move to the matrix again with the help of an enzyme called as ATP synthetase. When this proton moves through the ATP synthetase, it will produce ATP molecules, which is the ultimate product of our respiration, and this ATP molecules can be used for various biological activities, that is mechanisms, whenever required. That's all for today's video. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please click on the subscribe icon for the latest video updates. Thank you.